So, you have a small YouTube channel. You've been making videos for a couple of months now, but you're not seeing a lot of growth. When is it normal and when is it a problem? Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Karen Carr and I am going to put up my little name tag. I am the CEO of Video Boss Agent, and I am here to talk to all of you real estate agents about real expectations for your YouTube channel. But I also think we need to talk about the NAR decision because there's been some breaking news today. And if you have not heard, NAR reached a settlement of over $400 million in the Sitzer Burnett lawsuit. So was that my thumb or someone else's thumb? I'm not sure how I feel about this settlement, quite honestly. You can tell me your thoughts in the comment. On the one hand, I know that it was dragging out longer and longer and longer and longer, and they were just getting fatigue, I'm sure. And then as soon as one settled, there were copycat lawsuits, and NAR probably just said, we're going to get tied up in court forever. Maybe we should just settle. Let's protect our members. Let's do the right thing for everybody and not drag this out for years and years and years. I'm not sure exactly what they were thinking, but I did print out some highlights of the decision. So again, this is breaking news. They have come to a settlement agreement between the parties. They've presented it to the judge. The judge has not accepted it yet. So we still need to hear whether or not the judge will accept the terms of this or whether they will. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. Quite honestly, I'm no attorney, but if the plaintiff and the defendant have reached a settlement, then I don't know why the judge would say no, but apparently they have to go to the judge and the judge has to say yes or no. So a statement that NAR put out today. Why did they enter into a settlement? Are you saying that you agree that you did something wrong? And what they're saying is, we have been working consistently to reach a resolution with the plaintiff. We feel like this achieves our goal to protect our members and provide a path for us to move forward and continue to preserve, protect, and advance the rights of real property for every single American who wants to own it. They said, do you continue to deny wrongdoing? They said, yes. NAR has long maintained that cooperative compensation and NAR's current policies are good things that benefit both buyers and sellers. So they are not saying that they agree. They are not pleading guilty. They are simply saying, let's just be done with this and put it behind us so it doesn't drag out forever and ever. So what exactly are the terms of the settlement, in case you haven't heard, because this is breaking news. This happened earlier today. So as realtors, we can no longer offer compensation to the buyer's brokerage through the MLS. So typically when I log on to the MLS and I pull up a property under the co-op agreement, it tells me exactly what commission the listing agent is offering to me if I represent the buyer's agent or the buyer, right? Now we cannot do that. So it will not be in the MLS anymore. Hear me when I say this does not mean that the seller will not ever offer compensation to the buyer's agent again. It simply means we can't say what it is in the MLS. One of the allegations that the home seller said was that if property A says I offer this percentage and property B says I offer a slightly lower percentage and property C says I offer an even lower percentage, that buyer's agents are going to look at those three properties and determine which ones to show their clients based on how much money they get paid. Now, I've been in real estate for 18 years, so I can't say that that never happens. However, those people are the bottom of the barrel in the real estate industry. Those people who say, well, I've got 25 houses that meet my buyer's criteria, so I'm only going to show them the ones that have the highest commission percentage. Those people are scum and they need to be driven out of the industry. And I say good riddance to bad rubbish. It does happen. However, the vast majority of realtors are not like that. You know that. I know that. I wish that the consumers knew that as well. That is not how we roll. We pull up a list of properties, usually that the buyer has said they wanted to see, right? Ever since Zillow came along and the MLS was no longer in a 3-ring binder that we had to flip through sitting at a conference room table with the buyer, if the buyer can search for the properties online, usually the buyer comes to me and says, "These are the houses that I want to see." And I don't say, "Well, I can take you to this one and this one and this one, but I can't show you this one because I will not make as much money." Never, ever, 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 ever has that even occurred to me to say to my client. It's not right. So that is one of the things that we can no longer make an offer of compensation through the MLS. Another thing that it said, where was it? Um, there was another rule and I got to find it. It was a couple of things. It was very interesting. So, one of the questions I'm sure most buyers agents have is, how will we get paid now? The seller can still pay the buyer's agent's fee. We just can't put it in the MLS, but can you negotiate that with the seller's agent? Yes, you absolutely can. Can the buyer pay it directly? Yes. Can you ask the seller for a credit so that the buyer receives the credit and then turns around and pays their agent? Yes. Can you ask the lender if they could roll that into closing costs? Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But this is going to be our new reality. So I fully expect that a lot of lenders are going to start figuring out that they need to roll that fee into closing costs, because how many first-time buyers have down payment and closing costs and a fee to be able to pay their agent? So all of that is actually kind of a good thing in my opinion, and here is why. I have long been an advocate, if you represent a lot of buyers, of having a signed buyer brokerage agreement before you ever start working with that client. Now, in the first 9 years or so that I was in real estate, I will tell you I was terrified to ask anybody to sign the exclusive buyer's agreement. Do any of you feel that way? Please tell me if you do. I was terrified to ask anyone to sign the buyer broker agreement at the beginning because I lived in California and realtors were a dime a dozen. And I could easily ask, and what if they said no? They would just go find somebody else if I refused to work with them. So I didn't ask out of fear, out of scarcity and lack, that I wasn't confident enough in my skills and my knowledge and my ability to justify why they should work with me exclusively. I did not ask them to sign that document until we were writing an offer on a house, probably 95% of the time. So we found a house that they really liked. They were ready to write an offer, and I would slip that document in as, "Oh, by the way, this says that I'm representing you in the transaction." Now that I look back on that, I'm just so embarrassed by it. But that's really how I felt as a newly licensed agent. Even after I started selling tons and tons and tons of houses, I didn't want to ask for them to sign that document. Now, because my YouTube channel blew up and I started getting so many clients who found me from YouTube, I was so confident in saying, "Listen, you found me from YouTube, right? So do a lot of other people. My time is very limited. I can't work with every single person that comes to me. There simply are not enough hours in the day. I have to prioritize my time, and I give my time to my clients. If you are not a client, you're simply a customer. I don't have time to work with customers. If you want to work with me, you want to hire me to represent you, you need to be a client. And here are the steps to make that happen." It became very easy for me to have that conversation with my clients, my prospects, excuse me, my potential clients, because they found me from the YouTube channel. They already knew me. They already felt like they knew me. They trusted me clearly, which is why they reached out to me in the first place. And having that knowledge that they already knew who I was, and we'd kind of developed this whole know, like, and trust factor with video, it became very easy for me to then say, "Here's how we move forward. You want to work with me? This is what we do. This is called an exclusive buyer brokerage agreement, and you're going to need to sign it." And most of the time, they signed it with no problem whatsoever. So What is your unique value proposition? You're going to need to really figure out what that is. If you work with clients right now and you say, I work the entire metro area of Dallas, let's say Dallas. Okay, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of real estate agents who serve Dallas. How are you different? What makes you different? And that's where your YouTube channel comes in. You can't just talk about houses for sale in Dallas. You need to have an angle, a specialty for your real estate business. And so I wanted to talk today about expectations for your channel versus the reality of having a channel. Because in my coaching program, I see people all the time who are like, I've been making videos for 2 months now. Why don't I have any clients yet? And sometimes I just feel like we expect immediate gratification and that this is going to just happen so quickly. And I thought it would be good to have a conversation about, let's have some realistic expectations of how YouTube works. So this is an analogy I give all the time. You create your brand new channel and YouTube goes, woohoo, somebody else made a new channel today. All right, that's now number 58 million or however million YouTube channels there are. Okay, so then you make a video and you post your video and YouTube goes, okay, you posted a video. That's more than a lot of people do. Good job. And then you make another video and YouTube's like, okay. And you post 5, 6, 7 videos in a row and YouTube says, okay, now we are talking. This person is showing up. They're being consistent. They are posting videos on this content or on this platform that are good quality content. They are not meant to scam people. They are not faceless YouTube channels that are just hijacking the fame of big celebrities. They are not copying other people's content. They're not like taking a video that already exists on YouTube and downloading it and then uploading it to their new channel. It's not all bots. It's not all AI. These are real people making real information for potential prospects that are designed to be helpful and designed to help people buy and sell real estate in those areas. And the more you do that, the more YouTube takes notice of it and says, okay, all right, I see what you're doing here. Awesome. I'm going to show this video to more people. So maybe the first time you upload a video, it gets 4 views. And then the second video you upload, maybe it gets 5 or 7. Maybe then it goes to 10. It starts getting a few more views with every video that you upload. I remember when I first started my channel, I started it in 2016, but I didn't start making weekly content until 2017. And when I would upload a video and it got 25 views in the first 48 hours, I was so excited. And then eventually it became 50 views in the first 48 hours. And then it became 100 views in the first 48 hours. It takes time. I've been doing this now for how many years? 7 going on 8 years. And I have about 20,000 subscribers. But that is 7 years of hard work to get to 20,000 subscribers. It does not happen overnight. It is not an immediate success. It is work. And the vast majority of YouTubers put up videos that get less than 1,000 views. So when this happens to you, and it will, because your channel is brand new and you're just starting to make content and you're learning how this platform works and you're trying to figure out how the algorithm works and all of the things, you're going to feel like this is a huge waste of time. This is the biggest mistake ever. I am toiling away, blood, sweat, and tears that I'm putting into these videos, and nobody is watching them. And this is totally normal. This is kind of how it works. You have to build this authority and credibility in the eyes of YouTube and Alphabet, who owns YouTube, and kind of earn your way up the corporate ladder, if you will. Like you start in the mailroom, and then the more videos you put out and the better quality those videos are, you work your way up. And then suddenly you put out a video that takes off. I talked to one of my coaching students yesterday. She put out a video and it got about 500 views in the first couple of days. And she said, for me, that was a massive success. I don't normally put out videos that get that many views right away. That was huge for me. That did not happen in the first 2 months that she was making videos. It happened after years of hard work. I have another student who put out a video that has literally gotten 1 million views It took him a couple of months to reach 1 million, but it went viral right at the very beginning. However, he had been making videos for like 5 years before that happened. We see people and we think they're an overnight success, but we forget that they toiled away for 5, 6, 10 years before the video that brought them overnight success. I really feel like one of the hardest things about being a YouTuber is managing your feelings, managing your emotions, because there are a lot of negative emotions that come with having a YouTube channel. You will feel fear. You will feel worry. You will feel indecision. You will feel maybe embarrassment. You might feel attacked. These are all things that happen to us. Fear of being seen, fear of being criticized, fear of being told that what you're doing is stupid or that your opinion is wrong or that you don't know what you're talking about. Trolls on the internet love to say all kinds of horrible things because they're completely anonymous. Every time somebody puts a terrible comment on my videos, when I click on their channel to go look and see who they are, 99% of the time they do not have a profile photo and they do not have an actual name for their channel. It's never like Dan Smith, accountant in San Antonio, Texas. It's never something like that. It's some ridiculous name that means nothing with like a cartoon for their channel icon, if they even have one. It's very easy for them to cast negative aspersions on you and your content when they're completely anonymous and nobody knows who they are, right? What about worry? You think, oh gosh, I put up this video, nobody's watching it. It's not getting any views. The click through rate is terrible. And you just sit there and you worry over everything that you did, the things that you should have done, the things that you didn't do, but I should have done that. And I forgot to do that. I didn't know. You're indecisive about like, what should I talk about on this channel? Should I go after buyers? Should I go after sellers? Can't I do both? Do I need to niche down? Why do I need to? And all of these things that you just are indecisive about, you really are not sure about. And then, of course, embarrassment. You do put out a video that's kind of a clunker, or you said something that you just wish you hadn't said. I did a video where my audio was terrible and they ripped me to shreds in the comments. And that video has had thousands of views now over the years. And it's so embarrassing every single time they tell me how bad the audio is. Believe me, I know. I know that the audio is terrible. I knew at the time when I uploaded it, but I could not go back and re-record it. I shot it on location in Hawaii. I could not go back to Hawaii to reshoot that video with better audio. So yes, I was embarrassed. I tried very hard to just say, you know what? This is a learning experience. The next time you go to film, you make sure your camera is turned on, the battery in your microphone is charged, and the two are talking to each other. It was a lesson I learned the hard way, but I learned it. And you can be darn sure I never made that mistake again. But these are all normal feelings that you're going to have when you start this YouTube channel. It's not easy. Instead, I want you to practice feeling things like optimism. I know this is going to work for me. This channel is amazing. I am helping so many people. I know this is going to bring me clients. I know that people are going to watch these videos, and if they are the right person for me, they are the right personality fit, they are going to come and ask me to represent them. They are going to be willing to pay for me. They are willing to hire me because they see my value and they're willing to pay for my services. Now, with this whole NAR lawsuit, this may change. The way that we get compensated and how much we charge and all of that stuff could very well change in the future. I suspect we're going to see a lot of people that are doing a more flat fee. So I help you buy a house and I just charge a flat fee. Maybe it's based on X number of hours. I can tell you for sure, if I were working with a buyer and I was charging a flat fee, I would know exactly how my hourly rate broke out to be. And I would tell them that this is what is included for that fee. No longer am I going to be putting buyers in the car where I take them around every Saturday for 15 weeks in a row, hoping that they find the ideal $75,000 condo of their choice. Believe me, I have done that before. I've done that many times before. Before, when I was new and I was too scared to ask them to sign the buyer brokerage agreement, I would spend hours and hours and hours and weekends and weeks and months working with a client, and then they would not buy a property at all, and that money was, or that time was just gone. Time you can never get back. So will it change the way that we get compensated? Probably. And how exactly is that going to look? I don't know. But there are going to be ways that we can still get paid, whether the buyer pays us directly, whether we roll it into the lender's fees, whether we ask the seller for a credit. And one of the things that I saw, God bless CNN. CNN wrote an article talking about the decision, and they said house prices are going to come down and people are going to save so much money on our outrageous commissions that we charge. I don't think that that's what's going to happen at all. I honestly feel like sellers are going to think, yay, now instead of paying a $30,000 commission, I only have to pay a $15,000 commission. Cha-ching. I'm going to hire an agent. I'm going to put my house on the market and I'm not going to offer a commission because I don't have to. And then they're going to wait and they're going to wait and they're going to wait for people to come and show their house. And they're going to attack their listing agent and say, why is nobody coming to see my house? You told me it was beautiful. You told me the toilet being made out of solid gold was an amazing upgrade and that it absolutely made my house worth so much more money. Why is nobody coming to see it? Well, because the buyer does not have $15,000 to pay their agent on top of their closing costs, on top of their down payment. And so I don't, I really suspect that this might backfire. I know that the people who make these laws have never usually been in real estate. They have no idea how the industry works. And when stuff like this happens, people are making these laws, but they don't really have any basis in real life and how this affects them. It will not surprise me at all if this kind of backfires on what they think was going to happen. But is it a good thing for us that represent a lot of buyers? Yes, it is. It's going to force you to figure out how to clearly communicate your unique value proposition to them, what you bring to the table that is so different from all of your competitors, why you are the exact right ideal person to help them with their specific problem. It's going to help you get better at being able to say that with 100% confidence. When I say this to a prospect, I do not feel like, oh, I hope they pick me, and oh, they're looking at other agents too, and I hope they pick me because I really want their business. And I don't do that anymore. I did early on in my career. Now it's like, you know what? I am in demand. A lot of people want my time and attention. If you want to be one of them, this is how you work with me and become my client. And if you're not willing to become a client, you want to remain a customer, that's awesome. I'm not going to ask you to do anything that you don't want to do, that you are not ready to do. I wish you the best of luck. And then when they say, well, wait a minute, you don't want my business? And I explain to them again that I don't work with customers, I only work with clients. They say, all right, thanks. I need to think about it. Sometimes they come back and they say, you know what? We thought about it. I understand it. Let's sign the agreement. Sometimes I never hear from them again. And if I don't, then that's fine because they were not going to be a great client for me anyway. I know exactly what type of person is a great client for me. Has nothing to do with how much money they're spending or what neighborhood they want to buy in. It has everything to do with their attitude. Do they believe in the value of hiring a professional realtor to help them? Do they believe in paying for valuable services? Do they believe that my time is valuable and that I'm not going to drop what I'm doing and run over to help them at 7:45 a.m. on a Saturday because they don't have an appointment already scheduled with me? I believe that clients who want to work with me will treat me with respect. They will understand that I also have a life and that I have other people that I work with besides them, and they will be understanding about it. And because that's what I believe about my clients, that's actually the type of client that I end up working with. That was not the case in the beginning. Oh my gosh, I remember. Oh, I wish I could name names. I so would. There was this one client, every time she called me and I saw her in caller ID, I wanted to cry. And I made myself answer the phone, and every time I did, it was like, "God dang it, why did I answer the phone?" And then I just would, go drink heavily after I hung up the phone with her. It was not a fun time. Here's the worst part. I did multiple transactions with her. The first time was bad enough, and then several months went by, and it's kind of like childbirth. Childbirth is really, really painful, and you're like, "I'm never doing this again." And then after enough time has gone by, you're like, "Oh, we should have another baby," because you kind of forget. That's how it was. She said, "I wanna buy another house." I was like, "Yes, let's do it." And then not 2 weeks into it, it was like, "Oh, yeah, now I remember why I didn't wanna do this the first time." She was not my ideal client. She wanted to argue about everything. She wanted to negotiate everything, not just money, everything. And I was like, "Listen, I am the professional in this transaction. This is how I work. This is what I do. This part is not really up for negotiation. So you can either work with me or not, but I'm not going to change my entire business model for you. That's not happening." And it's so great to have that kind of confidence now where when you say these things, you feel good. And you know that, you know what? I might be saying no to business. They might say, "I don't want to work with you after all." And that's totally okay with me. If they leave and they never come back, I'm fine with it. I really, truly am. I might be sad that I'd be losing out on a really big commission check, but most of the time I'm like, you know what? What is your sanity worth? If you're going to get a really big commission check, but you're going to hate working with that person because they have completely unrealistic expectations. They talk down to you. They don't value you. They don't listen to what you have to say. They don't value your time. They think that they are your only client and they should be your number one priority at all times. When you work with people like that and they just drive you crazy, is the commission check worth it in the end? Maybe at the beginning when you don't have any clients, you suck it up and you do it because you really need the money. But it's so great to get to a place in your business where you're like, "I don't need to do that anymore. I have enough leads coming in. I have so many people to work with that I don't need to be a doormat for anybody anymore." So, even though it was kind of shocking that they settled today, I actually think that this might have a good thing. This will make all of us stronger and be more confident in our own abilities. So if you want to use YouTube as the way that you attract these people who see your value and want to hire you, here are just a couple of things that will really help you. Make decisions for your channel from the future version of you that has all of the success. So if you say, "I want to have 50,000 subscribers," and you're sitting here going, "Gosh, what should I do for tomorrow's video? Like I didn't plan it out. It's due tomorrow. I haven't even filmed it yet. I don't know what I'm going to talk about." Would somebody with 50,000 subscribers act like that with their YouTube channel? Probably not. They'd probably be a lot more organized. They would have a system where they were filming their videos weeks before they're ever going to get published on their channel. They would have help. They would not be doing everything themselves. So when you're trying to think of something to do, ask yourself what this future version of yourself that has all of those results would do, and then be that person now. If you know 50,000 subscriber me is much more organized than this, then what can you do to make yourself more organized? I'm sure there are a ton of things that you could do to get more organized, right? Stop trying to master everything simultaneously. You don't have to become amazing at every single thing there is to do when it comes to having a YouTube channel today. Let's do baby steps. Let's master one thing at a time and get really, really good at it and then move on to the next thing. I remember when I first started my channel, I didn't know anything about editing. I mean, I literally knew nothing. I went to YouTube and I typed in iMovie for beginners or something like that. And I said, all I want to do is learn how to do this. Oh, hey, now I see all the comments. I've had my notes in front of me. And so I did not see all of the comments until just now. So this is called a lower third. And all I wanted to do was learn how to edit so that I could have my lower third pop up with my name, and then I could make it go away again. And so I learned that one thing. And then I said, okay, what else could I learn how to do? What's a transition? Like, how can I learn how to make a transition? I just wanted to learn one thing at a time so that I could get better over time. But if you insist that you're 100% perfect from day one, you're going to be very disappointed. When you put your video up and you don't immediately get rave reviews, you're going to make that mean I suck. My content is terrible. Nobody wants to watch me. I knew this wasn't going to work. I told you this was a complete waste of time. Pff, that's it. I'm going to go off and do something else. Zoom, actually, it's not Zoom, it's my Mac computer. Every time I talk with my hands now, it starts popping up the little thumbs up and all of the things. Oh no, we're not going to do this one. Okay, what about just one peace sign? There's so many. There we go. The balloons. I'm going to have to start talking with my hands like tucked under my arms because the little thumbs up pops up constantly every time I talk with my hands. I want you to realize that there is no such thing as perfect. And even if there were, oh my gosh, David Matney, so nice of you. I appreciate the super chat. You are awesome. That I don't even remember what I was talking about. You're so cool. That perfection does not exist. Even if you think that there is such a thing as perfect, who decides what perfect is? Who's going to tell you, yes, this video is absolutely perfect. Yes, your channel is absolutely perfect. Guess what? You get to decide that I think I'm pretty freaking awesome right now. And I decide that my video is not perfect, but it's darn good enough. It is good enough to get me a client right now. It is good enough to get me business right now, the way I am, without making any changes whatsoever. You get to decide to think that thought on purpose. Nobody gives you permission to think it. Nobody says, well, you only have 20 subscribers, so that's really unrealistic. I don't think you should be thinking that. You can just decide how you want to feel about yourself, your channel, and your content right now. If you guys are new to me, I do YouTube with like a whole side of personal development because honestly, having a YouTube channel is like the best exercise in self-development and growth ever. Progress is better than perfect. Amen, Peggy. I am using StreamYard to go live, and this is why I like it so much because I can pop your little comments right up on the channel. So David, would you suggest we add a live stream show if we're consistently producing? 100%. I love going live. I love being able to interact with people. Normally, I would not go live this late in the day, but my analytics on YouTube were telling me a lot of people were on at 5 p.m. on a Friday. Why? I don't know. But we decided to go live at 5 p.m. just to see what would happen. Normally, I go live much earlier in the day, but why not? I think going live is a great way to build a community. When I had my Georgia Coast Homes team, we would go live maybe once a month or so, and we would talk about Atlanta, Savannah, Augusta, Hilton Head, what were the market conditions in each one of those areas? And we would basically just sit around on our live stream, drinking coffee at 9 in the morning, talking about what's the real estate market doing. It was very informal, but the people that watched that were in the comments were all like in the market to do a transaction and they were eating this stuff up. They loved it. Going live is awesome because there's almost no preparation that you have to do other than having a list of what I'm going to talk about. How am I going to open the video? What am I going to talk about during the video? And then how am I going to wrap it up at the end? There's no editing. It's pretty awesome. So if you're trying to add content to your channel without adding a long form video that takes a lot of editing, it's a great way to do it. I think so. Oh, my YouTube clients are my best time. Totally. Even better than your sphere, right? This is so true because with your sphere, just because you know them from around town does not necessarily mean that they are like your soulmate. You know what I'm saying? Whereas the people that call me from YouTube, they typically have a very similar personality as me. I had a former client from years and years and years ago text me a few months ago. She said, you helped us when we moved to Savannah. Now we live in, I forget where she is, Kansas, and we're going to be moving to Michigan. Oh, she's in Nebraska, and we're going to move to Michigan. I need you to find me a realtor to sell my house in Nebraska. I need you to find me a realtor to help me buy a house in Michigan, and I want them to be just like you. And I jokingly said loud and obnoxious. And she's like, no, I want them to tell me the truth and not blow sunshine up my skirt and not just tell me what I want to hear. I want them to be honest with me, not brutally honest where they make me cry, but, telling me the truth and not trying to just tell me what I want to hear. And after I helped her, I went to my community and I looked up agents who are in my YouTube program that I said, here are their channels. Go watch their videos. What do you think? Do you like them? I'll make an introduction. Then I can get a referral fee out of it. It was amazing. And she sent me a present for having done so, which was so nice. She was like, do you like charcuterie boards? And I said, yeah, who doesn't? And guess what shows up in the mail a week later? It was crazy. Those are my best clients, people who value me and my time and my expertise. And they're just wonderful people that I love to hang out with. They are truly the best clients. Yup. David Gibb or Brian Gibbs. Nice. Did I say David Gibbs? Isn't he from a TV show? Brian Gibbs, nice to see you. Sounds like an amazing lead magnet on the changes, how they would benefit a buyer. I agree. Oh, that'd be a really good one. So NAR came out with this decision. What does this mean for you? Download my freebie where I tell you exactly what I think. Now, I could be totally wrong because, this is an opinion and everybody has an opinion and some of them are completely off base and stink and whatnot. But this is kind of what I think is going to happen from this decision. Yeah. I too get those all the time. What I wouldn't give for an internet troll or two. So you're saying that Living in Atlanta, Georgia is the name of their channel, Peggy? If they even had that, I'd be surprised. Most of the time, it's like, Two Blue Eyes or something crazy like that. Or are you telling me that you've relocated to Atlanta? That's what I want to know. Or are you commenting on somebody in the chat from living? Oh, you're replying to Living in Atlanta. Now I gotcha. I'm kind of slow on the ball. Like I said, I was looking at my feed and I was like, where are all the comments? Nobody's commenting. Yet another Mac update, fireworks. And it was because I had my notes of what I was going to talk about on this live stream in front of my things. Yeah. Okay. I have some online marketing SEO experts adding comments to some, you and me both. And I love when they do that to me. And I'm like, that like SEO is kind of my jam, right? I think that's so funny that they still comment on my videos. I have good plans for your channel. Your SEO is no good though. And I'm like, really? Because do you know what I'm trying to rank for? I get that all the time. I totally ignore it. I love it when they say, I can't find your website on Google, because what they're Googling is homes for sale in Savannah, Georgia. I don't try to rank for that keyword. That's way too competitive of a keyword. I don't try to rank for best realtor in Springfield, Georgia. I try to rank for the things that people are actually searching that indicate they are looking for a real estate agent that also don't have crazy amounts of competition. And guess what, sweetheart SEO expert who's DMing me without any, soliciting me without any invitation, I do rank for those. So thank you very much, but your opinion is not really necessary. And especially because they're going to just run ads on Google for you and get you to appear at the very top. And you're going to pay a lot of money for the privilege of doing that. You can delete those comments if you want to. I typically do. If they are clearly spam, I just delete them. Or there's a feature in your YouTube channel where you can say hide user from channel, which I think is really funny because they don't know that they've been blocked. So they continue to write those comments and they never go anywhere. They don't get shown. So it's almost like, go ahead and waste all the time you want because they're not going to show up on my channel. I think it's actually really funny. So I've started doing that one instead. It's like, ha, 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 ha. That makes me laugh. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Living in the high desert, I would delete it because they're just advertising on your channel. That is 100% true. Oh, can I tell you, I did a podcast interview right before I went live here. And this woman is an expert in PR. She helps people get free PR. So, like, you contact your local TV station and you say, "Hey, I would love to talk about the NAR ruling." Like, seriously, if you guys think that would be a good thing to do, contact your local radio stations, your local TV stations, local newspapers, and say, "I am a realtor with this much experience. This just happened. I would love to talk about what this means for the consumer in our market." What person is not going to want to interview you and get your take on that? And then all of the free exposure. When I was on the local news, I recorded it off of my flat screen TV and I saved it. And then I put that on my YouTube channel and I put it on my website. I got so much mileage out of that, being able to say, look, I've been interviewed on our local TV station because I am a subject matter expert. That would be super cool. You guys should all do that. Anyway, what Gloria said to me on this podcast interview, she said, when you are posting on social media, so you write something, you put it on Instagram, and then you stick around on Instagram and you're answering all of the comments. Instagram wants you to do that because they want the engagement. So basically, you are, how did she phrase it? You are acting as an unpaid employee. You are doing their job marketing their platform. You post your content, which brings people to the platform in the first place. And then you answer all of the comments over and over and over again all day long. You're on Instagram answering the comments, trying to drive more engagement, which is what Meta wants because they want Instagram to be successful. So basically, they're having you do all of the work so that they can then say their platform is so successful and charge more for the advertising. I was like, "You just made my brain explode when you said that." That was so perfectly put. I agree 100%, which is why I love YouTube so much because we really don't have to do all that stuff, right? So, okay, sorry, Peggy, I misunderstood. When I saw living in Atlanta, I'm like, "What? I know you don't live in Atlanta." All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. I know it's super late on a Friday, but I hope you got some value out of this. And I really am now super excited for all of you to go pitch to a local TV show, radio station, or newspaper and talk about what this decision means, what this settlement from NAR means. I got an email about it from the Georgia Association of Realtors around lunchtime today, I think it was. I would bet that you've probably gotten one too. And if you haven't, just Google it. Google NAR settlement. You will find the same articles that I found. There is a link to a 3-page long description from NAR. Actually, it's 4 pages of what the decision, what the settlement actually means, and what were the terms of the settlement, and how will it affect us as licensed realtors. If you're a real estate agent, you're not a member of NAR, doesn't really affect you. But if you are in NAR's association, then read this up. I think it would be amazing if everybody got featured in their local press as the local subject matter expert. So be patient with your YouTube channels, my friends. It works. It doesn't work overnight, but it will work. Just don't give up. You can do it. I have faith in you. All right. We will see you all on the next live stream. Bye, everybody.